Hey everybody, I'm Mike. I'm a physician here in New York City. I'm a member of Left Voice. We're here today denouncing the lack of PPE and the poor response, not just on a city level, but also on a national level when it comes to this pandemic. I just heard that young physicians, 26-year-old is dying here in New York. I've been talking with other physicians. They say that they're intubating the same number of people in one day that they typically do in a month. They say that the number of people that are dying in their ED in one day is the same amount that are dying in a month. We in the United States, we talk about having the most advanced medical system in the world, but what does that mean when frontline workers can't get the PPE that they need during a pandemic? What does that mean when our medical system isn't able to mobilize and produce the needed number of ventilators and the needed number of other supplies during a pandemic? There's all this talk from both government officials and about how they're mobilizing and how everything's great, but frontline workers are seeing how this is a complete disaster. We don't need the smiley remarks of Governor Cuomo anymore, talking about the meatball sandwiches that him and his family are having. We don't need de Blasio saying how the response has been effective when both of them are responsible for the shutdown of the hospitals in New York City and the lack of resources available to healthcare workers in New York City. What we're seeing through this pandemic is actually the result of a larger capitalist economic system that is completely unable to respond to the crisis at hand. This economic system is completely bent on maximizing profit even during a pandemic. So even during this pandemic, we see companies seeing how much money that they can make off of producing ventilators. We see investment bankers talking about how this could be a prime opportunity for profit production during this pandemic. The capitalist system is a complete parasitic system that has been destroying the earth for a long time, and coronavirus is really just a signal. It's a signal to what's to come. It's a signal to what the capitalist economic system is actually creating in our society. And if people think that the death and destruction that they're going to see from coronavirus is anything compared to the death and destruction that we're going to see from climate collapse, there's another thing coming. So we need to mobilize now. Workers know what they need. Workers need to be directing how these healthcare companies are actually organized and how they're running. We need nationalization of not only the entire healthcare system, that means pharmaceutical companies, that means elimination of these insurance companies that only are existent to delay care to patients, nationalization of the hospital systems, the clinics. But we also need nationalization and democratic worker control of other industries, like the industries that are producing ventilators and PPE. Worker control is the only way that we're actually going to get what we need. And confronting capitalism head on is the only way that we're actually going to challenge the crisis at hand.